What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Game of the Week show. I'm your host, Matt Southwell, and joining me this week is Dan Gilbert and the bearded Ashley Dye. You well?
Very good.
It's a special occasion, trying to be Santa Claus for Christmas.
Yeah, I'm going to dye it white. Yeah. Give out loads of presents.
Good. Where's mine?
Yeah, well, all in time.
Okay. You looking forward to Christmas then?
Very much so.
Yeah. I'm not really a Christmas person. I don't like. This sounds like really miserable, but like the effort of having to go and buy presents for people is a lot of effort. Like, it's not that I don't like the people in my life, but I often feel that the presents I buy people are far more awesome than the presents I receive back.
That's a good way of looking at it, man.
But no, anyway, video games.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll go video games. It's been very busy this week. Really struggled to get it down to the top 5 stories, so we'll get straight onto the show here. But before we do, anyone that is new to the Game of the Week show, it is 3 friends that sit around this table every Monday to discuss the latest news topics in the video game industry. We'll then also go through the game releases for that week and then decide on what is our favourite game of the week. So moving straight on with the first item this week, and Assassin's Creed has been in the news. No, Unity is not broken. That is not the news.
Well, it is.
Well, it is, but there was a leak earlier this week that the new Assassin's Creed game is going to be called Assassin's Creed Victory, and it's going to be set in Victorian London. Ubisoft haven't exactly confirmed it, but their release basically confirms it without confirming it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. They haven't denied it, which is the big thing.
If they denied it, then maybe. But so, what do we think of this as a setting, Dan? Obviously, you're a big AC fan.
Yeah, it's like they've done Paris, they've done Rome. I think it was only a matter of time before it eventually came to London at some point.
Definitely.
Even if not like a full game, at least having a chunk in London properly, because it's a big city. I think it's reached. If it's Victorian, then it's reached the point where it's like grown, like to a really decent size, sort of like possible map. But it's not going to be like all medieval or anything like that.
Yeah, I think the Victorian's
it's
a
going
good
to look
idea.
different and compared to what they've done before.
No London Eye though.
No.
I think
unless they go along the route that they've put in some stuff for
time
Unity.
travel.
And
Yeah,
so on.
I'm sure there'll be a DLC.
Yeah. I think it's really good. Really good. I don't know what to say. I feel
like nuts down there.
No, it's just the dog who had his nuts moved this week, not me. I feel London's actually really underutilized as a location in video games.
It is definitely.
I don't know if either of you guys remember this game at all. It was called The Getaway for PS2.
No.
Kind of.
That was I knew that would fall straight on its ass there, but it was a really good game. It was basically it was similar to like the GTA kind of style game. You basically worked for like a gang, and it was in London, and it was awesome. And it had like all like classic London's cars, or British cars. But that was really good. I think London will be a good setting anyway.
I think for London settings, it's just depending on when you're trying to frame it. Sort of like certain periods just looks like any other city, or do you wait for like the iconic buildings to be there? But at that point, it's beyond the scope of what you want your game to be set in.
Yeah, London's Big Ben, basically. Anyone that's not from the UK, that's what they associate London with. So provided that's there, as long as you can climb it and then jump off it, that's all that matters. Well, we'll move on then from Victorian to the space era. Adrift, a new game that's going to be coming out in 2015. There's been a new gameplay trailer. It looks good. It's like a space simulator. It basically,
does look good.
Me and Dan were talking about before. It's basically Gravity, the movie, the game.
I called it Gravity Simulator 2015.
Yeah,
it is very much so.
You're drifting through space on the remains of a space station whilst trying to find a way home with your limited oxygen supply. So it is. But the big thing about this game is that it has full Oculus Rift support. And
that's cool.
Ash, what would you think? Does this game interest you? And
does.
What's your opinion on Oculus Rift as well?
Well, the game itself, it does interest me. I mean, it's it's spacey. I like my space games. Dead Space was a good game that I enjoyed playing as well. But Oculus Rift is. It would be amazing with this. I think if we had more games that were full Oculus Rift, it would it would sell a lot better.
I want to try it, but I just don't know how. I don't know if it's going to be one of these things like where the concept sounds amazing, but then when it actually comes to using it, is it the real deal? is virtual reality the next video, or is it another gimmick? You know, when everyone started talking about how, you know, you could have like the camera that would interact with you, you started thinking about how amazing it would be, like playing Call of Duty, doing barrel rolls in your living room to duck behind cover and stuff like that. At least that's what I was thinking. But in reality,
that's how he still plays.
Yeah, without Kinect, just
with the controller.
Yeah, with the controller. Just phone. That's why I never kill anyone, because I'm too busy aiming the controller rather than using the thumbstick. But yeah, I don't know if it's going to be the next mainstay or not. Obviously, PlayStation is supporting it with Project Morpheus as well.
Yes.
And obviously, Facebook. How much did they spend? Like $2 billion, was it?
Yeah,
too much.
Too much. Yeah.
Too much. Yeah.
But this is the kind of game I think that if there is going to be any game out there, that's you need something that's like a submersive world, like a horror game or something that will really throw you in. And
I mean, they keep bringing out these stories about Oculus Rift, and it gets in the news every now and again, and I get really excited about it, and then you don't really hear anything for several months. So, you know, until it's really out there in the mainstream, you know, to buy with compatible with lots of games that's, you know, fully submersive, then
I think the problem is it's the cost, isn't it? You know, you're entering an industry where the mainstay piece of hardware, the console itself, is only £300-400. How much would you pay for this piece? I mean, this technology obviously not cheap. How much would you pay for an Oculus Rift?
£500.
Okay, well, you're obviously rich.
No, but like for what it is, I mean, I know it's a decent piece of hardware, but if it is as good as what I imagine it to be, as a fully submersive, I think it's got to be worth £500.
I think that's what it is. But do you think? I mean, I would probably buy it for that price because, like you said, it's good technology. But is that going to appeal to the mass community? Because people are going to say, well, that's for one peripheral, that's as much as the whole console.
Yeah,
and I think that's the problem at the moment.
To be honest, I'm just not that enthusiastic about having to strap something over my face to be able to then play the game.
Right? You laughing at the word strap?
No, just strap something over my face. I was just like, okay, that's a very blunt way of looking at things.
It is, isn't it?
That's essentially, if you've seen the setup, that is pretty much what's happening.
I know it is.
But no, I think we'll see. I think it will make an impact. It's just we don't know how big it'll be yet. But I look forward to playing.
At the end of the day, you can't comment too much without actually trying an Oculus Rift first.
No. I mean, all the reports online basically say like people that have used it are like shows and like there's like the dev kits. Everyone says it's really good. So.
That's it. Like you can see what it looks like on someone, but without actually using it,
experiencing it.
It's the experience yourself. Yeah,
you have to experience it yourself. But you know, I've done some similar things in Las Vegas where they've got these things where you can be fully submerged. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Why are you sharing? But it was very good, and this is 5-6 years ago, so you know I'm sure
the technology
is there, and if they can get it into the right price bracket and into the right hardware, then I think it's definitely the way forward.
Yeah. Well, maybe not forward, but moving backwards. Resident Evil, the remake, has been the release date's been announced, January 20th, 2015. It's coming to PS3, PS4, 360, Xbox One, PC. It's going to be a revamp of the GameCube remake in 2002. So you've got the original, and then the remake, and now the HD remake.
So it's basically just the remake.
It's the third gen. The third gen of
Resident Evil remake HD.
Yeah.
Excited?
I am. I really am. I played the GameCube version. I probably had about 3 games on my GameCube, and that was one of them.
Super Monkey Ball and Super Smash Brothers.
Or Mario
Pass. I don't know what I had.
Mario Sunshine,
but I definitely didn't have many games.
Yeah.
I don't even know what happened to my GameCube. Anyway, this was one of them, and it was one that I really enjoyed. The if I remember rightly, the story was pretty good. I'm a big Resident Evil fan anyway.
Yeah.
I wasn't overly impressed with Resident Evil 6. No, Resident Evil 5. What are we up to now? 6.
Don't ask me. I'm not. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not the Resident Evil. I heard the last couple became a bit more action rather than kind of like the horror kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I understand is Resident Evil is all about like the tension and you don't have that much actual combat and action, whereas the latest ones became a bit more like action intense.
Yes. Yeah.
Which kind of took away from the suspense. That's what I read anyway. I've never actually played.
I didn't play much of 6. I've got it, and I still keep meaning to go back to it, but I didn't play much at all. 5 I did play right the way through, but I do like the Resident Evil series, and I think it's quite nice that they're going back to an older one when Resident Evil was better and the story was better. So yeah, I'm sure I'll be buying this.
I will check that. I said to Dan off camera that I've never actually owned a Resident Evil game, so I've never really been able to play one properly. And I'm sure this is being released in anticipation of upcoming Resident Evil games. So it's kind of get everyone interested again. So for £15 when it comes out, I think that's pretty good value.
Yeah, I'll be definitely buying it.
Moving on then, another. Well, not anniversary or remake, but anniversary this time.
Yeah.
PlayStation 4 turned 20 years old this week.
Well, PlayStation 4 didn't.
PlayStation, yeah, sorry, PlayStation did. PlayStation 20, yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
1994. There you go. There was a 4 in there somewhere.
There was a 4 in there. Okay.
So yeah, the PlayStation originally released in Japan on the 2nd of December 1994. So in celebration of this anniversary, Sony have released a very limited edition PlayStation 4. See there's the PlayStation 4. I knew it was in there somewhere. It's going to be in the original grey of the original PSX, and it also comes with the camera, the stand, the controller, all in the original grey finish, and it looks awesome.
And how many are there?
12,300. And they've already
left?
0. I tried to buy it last night when they announced it, but they only announced it for the US store, which I couldn't then buy on. I imagine I wouldn't be able to buy on. Even when I tried to check out, the website broke every time anyway. So it doesn't look like I'll be getting one, which is really upsetting because I really wanted one. Do you think they look cool?
They're not for me. They're not for me. I do think they look cool and I like the touch, but nah.
You like being all black?
Yeah.
That's fair enough. Well,
Gangster. Gangster.
Anyway, Dan. So they're also releasing a PS4 theme as well, which will have like the grey background, and also the startup noise will be the same as the original PlayStation startup, which is pretty cool. No, I hadn't forgotten. Don't put me into your.
We should have a second silence so you can overlay it now.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, I didn't actually really need to do that. I could have just muted our audio.
You could have done.
But there we go. No, that's pretty cool, and I've downloaded it.
To be honest, it's the first instance I've heard of a new theme actually coming to the PS4 since they've put in the whole theme support.
I know they introduced it.
I haven't gone searching, but it's the first time I've actually actively heard of one being announced.
Well, here's 2 pro tips for you two and the other viewer we have. The themes are actually, there's not actually a section on the PlayStation Network or PlayStation Store called themes. It's in games. It took me a long time to find that out. And also, if you go into your settings when you install this and turn off the tone sounds when you start up, it won't, because at the moment it has by default it has
overlaying, and it'll sound.
But if you turn off the tone one, then it will turn off the PS4 startup. So then you'll just have the PS1 startup, which I've done. Obviously.
So how long are you going to keep that theme then?
Probably forever, because I don't actually really know how to change it. When I downloaded it said, do you want to apply this theme? I said yes.
You don't know how to take it off now.
My point is, were you going to revert at some point, or is it now stuck there?
Well, put it this way, when I had my PS3 I had an Uncharted 2 theme when in the lead up for Uncharted 2.
Yeah.
I don't know what year that came out. Super fan.
Uncharted 2.
But either way, it came out like when the game was announced, so it'd be the E3 before, and that stayed on my PS3 until the PS3 went. So I don't change my themes very often. So that's pretty cool. So unlucky anyone that wants to buy the console, because
they're gone.
You'll be able to buy one. You'll just have to go to eBay and spend like £2,000.
Do you think they'll ever release a generic?
Well, this is what I was wondering. It's
much like the same as like the white you could only get with Destiny, and then it's like, no, it's out there. And
they've numbered them. So there's a panel on the bottom of the console, which next to the original rainbow PlayStation logo as well, it's got what number this is out of 2,300.
Yeah.
But there's been so much interest in this. To me, it feels like they're maybe leaving some money on the table, unless they're selling them at a loss, obviously. But I don't think they are, because they're $500 or like €500, or I would assume £400. They didn't announce a sterling price ever. But if people want them, why wouldn't you make more? Like,
I don't know.
I understand sometimes why people make some limited editions because there's production issues. Like, you can only make so many. But to me, this seems like it's the same console. It's just
different colour.
a different colour.
Yeah.
But there we go. You might have
We'll
to. Yeah, we'll move on anyway. Now that's we've already celebrated PlayStation.
But there's
parties.
lots of little extra downloads and add-ons you can get now for the 20th anniversary. Basically, that's what we're saying. Is that there's a few little gimmicky extras you can get from the PlayStation Store.
They look cool.
Mod.
But we'll move on to the final item this week, which is we've kind of combined a couple of games in here. There's first up, I Am Bread. For the game's been released, it's out now on PC. So if anyone doesn't know what this game is, if you've ever wanted to take on the role of the role of a piece of bread whose main quest in life is to be toasted whilst remaining edible, then this is the game for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't really need to say too much more about the game. The video that will be overlaying right now does everything for it. It looks very similar to like the Oculus Rift kind of style.
Oculus Rift.
I'm terrible at words today.
Still got Oc.
Yeah,
Octodad. Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because it's like looking at the trailer. At least you got the 4 points of contact.
Yeah.
Like the corners of the bread, basically.
Yeah.
And so it looks like you're gonna have to move in a very similar fashion.
Yeah.
But
it looks
without
fun.
seeing more.
It does look fun. A lot of fun.
So that's only on PC at the moment. So unfortunately, that's not there for console owners. Hopefully, it will be coming to consoles next year. But another game that's also coming to consoles next year is Rocket League. So Ash, you're a big fan of racing games, aren't you?
Yeah.
So
it's quite a strange combination because it's basically a car racing game and a football game.
Yes.
Yeah. So as I said, like Matt before, they've essentially just taken the idea from Top Gear, where they were playing football in
with
like cars, and now it's just gone insane.
I don't know, when did that come out? Because this is actually a sequel to their 2008 game, which was also the same.
I don't know. It's like,
and that was supersonic, acrobatic, rocket-powered battle cars. So I just wanted to get that name in there.
Say that when you're drunk.
Barely said it's so sober. Although it's questionable whether I'm sober.
Yeah, questionable.
Yeah, I'm definitely drunk.
Questionable.
But I think it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's. You mentioned that it could be quite hard to handle.
It looks, looking at the game, it doesn't. They make it look really easy, but I think it's going to be one of those games where you're going to try and fly in your car to the ball and just totally miss it relentlessly. I think it's just going to be that kind of game, but a lot of fun again. I think.
And the one final game actually that I did just pick up on, which Dan, I know you're more of a football fan than a soccer fan, as the Americans would say it. So you could look to get Blood Bowl 2, which is quite literally fantasy football come to life.
Yeah.
It's you basically get all the characters from like Warhammer playing American football. It looks
insane.
Does it look good? I haven't seen this. So.
Not seeing like too much actual gameplay out of the trailer.
There's no gameplay in the trailer at all.
No, but it basically looks like everyone's having a massive fight while trying to score. So it's like the characters are just punching each other and doing all sorts of.
It reminded me a little bit of, you've got all these stupid sports games that came out here. The one I always remember is Red Card.
Yeah.
Which was a football game, like soccer football.
Yeah.
For the Xbox, and the idea was basically you could like literally drop kick players in the head and not get booked, but if you did a normal sliding tackle, you'd get sent off. Basically, encourage you to do over the top fouls, and like you could play as like I always remember this. You could play as a team of dolphins. And like there was other bizarre characters as well, but the dolphins are obviously for one reason the most memorable. So a lot of fun little games there. Fantasy football is coming spring 2015, and the Rocket League is
fantasy football.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Blood Bowl.
Yeah,
fantasy football is coming in spring 2015, and the Rocket League is just next year.
Yeah.
We're going to win. So that's pretty much it on the news, although I will very quickly just slide in the weekly house marquee news item. Resogun. Everyone knows how much I like Resogun.
Yeah.
You sound so like pissed off about that. When will you shut up about Resogun?
Yeah, well, it was kind of like a yes.
Well, it's now coming to PS3 and PS Vita.
Right.
So that's cool. Now everyone of the PlayStation family can play this game.
Yes, it'll be a good Vita
The best PlayStation game.
It'll be a good Vita game, definitely.
And there's some DLC as well coming for the PS4 version. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I will leave that. We'll leave that there for news. There was, like I said, there was plenty more news we could talk about.
There was a lot of news this week. Yeah.
We normally just focus on the top 5. I just wanted to slip that one in at the end. We'll be right back with the game releases in just a second. Okay, welcome back, and now it's the time of the show where we will talk about this week's game releases. So, whilst the news was pretty packed and busy, in terms of actual game releases, we're a little bit light this week. Getting towards Christmas, I suppose. People don't want to be releasing games this late. It ends up being too close to the holiday season. So, just a couple to go through, but we'll start off with the big release, or the AAA release of the week, which is Ubisoft's open world racer, The Crew. So we've spoken about this game quite a few times over the duration of this show. Well, not this show, but all the our show in total.
Yeah.
And it was always one that you were quite interested in, wasn't it?
It is. I love the scale of the map. I love how much depth there is to this game in terms of where you can go. The map is vast. I read an article, I think I mentioned it a couple of shows ago, how just getting an idea of just how big this map is. It's you look at the map. We were talking about the size of the map on Far Cry, and it's double the size of Far Cry and GTA maps put together. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah. Oh no, I think we talked about it. It take like 2.5 hours to drive, like solid driving coast to coast.
Yeah.
Which is a huge amount of time.
Yeah. It's crazy. In terms of gameplay, I mean, I know you played the beta, didn't you?
I did. So I don't want to kind of criticise the game too much. It's not in final state.
Yeah.
But I was not overly inspired by the handling. It was okay. The cars didn't quite grip the track as much as I'd want for an arcade racer. When I think of arcade racers, I think of Burnout mainly. Also Midnight Club. I don't know if you remember those games.
Yeah, Midnight Club. Yeah.
Basically, games where you could just throw the car at the corner, either like just a little tap.
Every week I sneeze.
I know. It's too much dust in here. I actually purposely put lines in front of you. I want to be able to basically throw the car at the corner, like just tap the brake or hit the handbrake and just kind of fly around the corner.
Yeah.
But in this game, it doesn't do that, but it's also like not simulation.
Yeah, with an arcade, you want to be able to throw the car around and for it to be responding quite well. Yeah,
I mean, again, it was difficult because this was the big game at the time where I'd been playing about 30 hours of Forza. So sometimes when you play one game, moving to a different game, it's always just kind of like, well, it doesn't feel like this, and I like how I...
Yeah, exactly.
Adjusting how you play the game as well, because I was probably attacking the corners like I attacked them in Forza. So, but obviously a driving game, it has to handle well.
Yeah, it does.
And that's my one concern about it, which is why I haven't bought it yet. I'm waiting for a few more reviews to come out and see what people are...
I would like to buy it. I played Drive Club quite extensively, and I've pretty much finished Drive Club now. So I would like to maybe...
Apart from the online trophies, probably.
Yeah. Because online wasn't working. But I would like to play The Crew. It does appeal to me, and I think I just need to, like you say, wait and just see what the general consensus is with reviews.
I've read a couple, and on Metacritic, when I looked yesterday, it was on like 61, which is obviously very average. And a couple of they weren't massive sites that I read the reviews from. No disrespect, it's not like we're like blowing up in terms of the world, but it's... Most people were saying like the world is incredible, but the handling is questionable.
Yeah.
Which that's basically my concern.
Do you think maybe it's almost like they spent too much time world building and not enough focusing on the actual racing rather than...
I don't think it's necessarily that.
Like balance should have maybe have been...
I don't think it's that. I think it's just maybe Ubisoft necessarily they don't have the same people with the same level of skills that maybe other racing studios have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad, and I'm sure they spent a lot of time on it. They had the driver series, which obviously, driving. So they've got the history there, and then My biggest concern is that it's just going to feel like the driving in Watch Dogs, which I didn't really like. No. But there are some people. I'm sure there are some people out there that will like it. And
yeah, I think I probably will give it a go, and let you know what it's like.
Cool. Because if it's good, there is so much content there.
There is huge.
Just you can literally spend like 100+ hours on this game.
Yeah.
There is so much there.
I'm just concerned as to what the trophies might consist of.
Or do you only want to buy it if it's a platinum?
No, not specifically. I mean, I don't just buy games if they're platinumable, but if there is, a trophy for getting from one side to the map to the other side of the map
in under 2 hours, and you drive and it's like 2 hours, 1 minute.
There probably is, because there's another game like a few years ago called Fuel.
Yeah.
And like that had a map that's like basically take that sort of distance where they had like, I don't know if it had trophies and achievements or whether it's just an Xbox one, but I know where I saw it was an Xbox thing where it's like top to bottom corners took about 2 hours.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, and that had an achievement associated with it. So
I'm sure it will be.
There probably is one. So
okay, nice.
It's fine. It's only 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like pause in between.
Work out your hand. It's fine. Find a way to stick down the trigger button.
So that game is basically available now for all platforms.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We'll move on now to the next couple. We won't go into huge details here. The Telltale games, Tales of Borderlands, out now in Europe. We spoke about last week, and Game of Thrones we announced last week is also out now. Like I said, we're not going to speak about them hugely because we spoke about them last week, and then we've spoken about them before as well. They're reviewing really well. Episode 1's up for both of them now. They are $3.99 on the UK store, or you can pay $15.99 for the season pass on Borderlands and $19.99 for the season pass of Game of Thrones. I'm definitely going to be playing the Game of Thrones one, because I'm a big fan of Game of Thrones. So I will report back how good it is.
Yep.
Next up is a 2D puzzle platformer in the name of Teslagrad. Now, this is a PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4 network game. Dan, we looked at the trailer before. It looks like the artwork looks quite nice, but what was your opinion on the actual game from the trailer?
To be honest, it just looks like generic platformer. I mean, it's got what you expect. Your power up items at some points in the game allow you to solve the puzzles in certain ways. The trailer shows you generic boss fights at the end of what I'm assuming is every stage or whatever.
Yeah,
but there's nothing there that majorly grabbed me.
I mean, there's a lot of these the problem with these platform games is there are so many of them out there.
Yeah,
it's got to do something special. It might be a very good game. I haven't played it yet, but there's so many out there. You've got to do something special to make your game want to stand out. The review, it had like 4.5 stars on the PlayStation Network at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not denying the fact that it probably plays very well. Yeah. It just doesn't look special.
There was nothing for me to really draw me in either. I mean, he basically looks like he's Electro Boy. Like he has like electrical magnetic powers. Yeah. It looks okay, but there's so many out there. It's the kind of game where I would probably play it if it was free on PlayStation Plus, but it will inevitably fall from my radar after this show ends. Another small, actually an indie game coming to the Xbox for once. The name is Threes, and it is a maths puzzle game. Do you like doing equations when you play video games?
No, I don't.
Can you add to 3?
Some days. Yeah. Not the sort of thing I'd want to put in a game. I mean, looking at it, it's not the sort of thing that really doesn't sell it for me.
See, to me, this looks like a perfect kind of like mobile game.
To be honest, I thought I'd heard of it as an
I think originally it was
or something beforehand.
Yeah, it got an award from Apple. Yeah. So it's obviously come from iOS.
Yeah.
Initially, it looks like one of those games that you could annoyingly spend a lot of time doing.
Yeah.
But how it all transform onto because there's a lot of like you'll see from the over there like a lot of like kind of moving blocks like side to side to like match them up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how well that will transform onto the controller. It just seems like something a lot easier that you would use with the swipe of your hand.
Yeah. So like, to be honest, as the game is, it just looks like something that should stay on a phone.
Yeah.
Because you play it while on the bus or the train or something like that. It's how you filled your journey rather than, oh, I'm home from work, let's go play threes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
So that's pretty much it for games this week. We will do a quick mention for one that I did miss last week, which was quite a big game. I suppose it's just a case of the Wii U being forgotten about. The poor little Nintendo in the corner.
Yeah.
But credit where credit's due. Like Nintendo, like they're the games that are coming out and they're consistently reviewing well.
Yeah.
They are.
And they're working.
They are.
Which is more than a lot of games like this for. But Super Smash Brothers for the Wii U.
Yes.
It's already the fastest selling game in North America. Wii U game, not any game. Obviously, that's probably Call of Duty and Destiny and stuff like that. But it looks like visually. It looks. I'll always remember Super Smash Brothers. I think we've spoken about Smash Brothers a lot of times.
About Super Smash Brothers
from the N64.
Yeah,
but you know, it really looks good on the Wii U, and you can have 8-player battles, which. I mean, 4 players was always chaotic enough. I can't even imagine what the 8-player ones are like. Probably about double the chaos. Probably.
I should think so. Yeah.
But it's a game. It's another one of those games that makes me lean towards getting a Wii U.
I know.
I really want to play this game. I really want to play like Mario. I really want to play. There's been a new Zelda game that's just been announced. I want to play Mario Kart. It's just. It's like £200 though for like 4 or 5 games.
Yeah,
it's hard to justify.
It is
because it's just not one that I'm going to use enough. I don't think, but it's getting close. I don't know. What are your guys' opinions on the Wii U? Will you ever buy one?
I probably will eventually, but it has to be for more than just 1 or 2 games. I have to have probably 3 or 4 to be able to. To be able to.
You're going to sneeze again.
No, I need a tissue. Probably needs 3 or 4 to be able to really make it worthwhile.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because
we're rounding up now anyway. Don't
okay,
worry.
Good. No, because I got a really.
So that was the final game. So very quickly then, is there any pick for your game for this week? What would be your? I mean, I know you haven't played any of them.
Yeah, it's hard to like pick one up and say for definite, but I guess The Crew, if it works.
Yeah, well, it does work.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's like if it's all 100% working, then The Crew.
Yeah, it is work. That's one of the big things that we shouldn't have to say.
Is this one working? Yes, it's working.
But it is working,
okay.
and you know, all the beta testing has obviously proved that it worked. There's no such thing as too much. Because I think they got a bit of stick because there was like 3 or 4 betas that were ran over the last few months, but it works. It's just whether or not the handling will become a frustration or not. That's like the concern that I have.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you've not played a racing game in a while and this is the only one you're getting for, then you will adjust to it and you'll be able to drive properly.
I'm hopeful. I think it will be a good game. Yeah. I think with a bit more probably depth to a lot of racing games that you see, I think it's going to be a good game.
That's fair enough. I'm gonna break the mold and go with Game of Thrones as my pick for this week.
I thought you might.
Just mainly because I've already got my open world racing game, Forza, which I've put so many hours into, and I will continue to put more into. But Game of Thrones is one that I'm really looking forward to play. The reviews have been good. I love Telltale games like Wolf Among Us, Walking Dead, and I love Game of Thrones. So,
but if you have got a Wii U, it's got to be Super Smash Brothers.
Well, yeah, that was technically last week's game.
Yeah, that's last week, so
it's void for the voting.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so there we go. Those are the game releases, and that's pretty much it for this episode. So if you have enjoyed the video, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you can keep up to date with all our weekly ramblings. If you want to speak to us about any of the news stories, you know, your opinion on how you would feel if your piece of bread, would you rather be toasted or untoasted, and have you played The Crew? Like, what do you think of The Crew? Do let us know, because we are very interested to hear. Leave a comment, we will respond to you. But for now, Dan and Ash.
Cheers, Ash.
Gents.
Thank you for your time. I'll let you go and get your.
I know, I need to blow my nose.
That's fine. Everyone out there, we will see you next Monday.